This is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the upcoming transit of planet Saturn, which is going to be changing signs on April 28th. So friends, on April 28th, Saturn is going to be entering the sign of Aquarius and it's going to be transiting in Aquarius till July 12th. So friends, although on surface, Saturn's transit in the Aquarius in the year 2022 looks like to be of a very small time frame, but trust me, even during this small time frame, Saturn holds the key of bringing some concrete results in our life. And friends, Saturn is not going to go deep within the Aquarius. It is only going to stay in the initial few degree of the Aquarius sign only during this year. And definitely Saturn is also going to go retrograde as well on June 5th. So in a way, friends, that this transit of Saturn can be seen as a teaser or of a trailer that what exactly Saturn is going to be bringing in our life in complete intensity next year of 2023, when it is going to make a full complete entry in the Aquarius sign. And friends, definitely, because many people have been also talking about that during this whole year, Saturn is going to be transiting in the Dhanishta nakshatra. So there has been a lot of speculations and lot of contradictory opinions and views which are doing rounds in the astrology community. But friends, trust me, if I were to share my own findings on this, so Dhanishta's energy is definitely being ruled by the planet Mars. But try to understand this thing, that when we talk about out of this war zone of Saturn and Mars, Saturn always has a upper edge. And not only that, friends, it's the Saturn's sign only where Mars attains exaltation. So because of which, friends, Saturn holds the key of manifesting very good results over here during this transit in the Aquarius sign. So friends, because why this year or this specific transit of Saturn is important, because you have to understand this thing, that when we talk about, for example, the fast moving planets, so they do not stay in one zodiac sign for a longer span of time, so they can actually create some opportunity. But when we talk about all those kind of events, circumstances which holds the key of completely changing the course of our life, giving us some lifetime awards, rewards or results, for that we have to give attention to the transit of these slow moving planets, and we have to read them in complete cahoots or in complete resonance and symmetry with each other. So if you will look at the entry of Saturn in the Aquarius, it is actually going to be taking place at a time when Jupiter is also going to be dignified, because before that, friends, from past couple of months and like almost years, Jupiter was first in the Aquarius sign. Before that, it was debilitated as well. But now when Saturn is going to enter the sign of Aquarius, Jupiter is going to be transiting in its own sign. Rahu Ketu's perspective, if you want to see, so definitely Rahu and Ketu are going to be initiating this whole summary of Rahu and Ketu's axis, which is soon going to be in the Aries and Libra, is all about new beginnings. So definitely, friends, look forward to some positive concrete development and result which Saturn can bring in our life. Now friends, before we will jump to the customized results, let's first try to understand the importance of Saturn's transit. So as you know this thing, that Saturn, which is the significator of our profession, of our actions, of our duties, of our responsibilities. I've said this thing so many times, that when we talked about anything which is very big in nature, which is very concrete, which is very substantial, all of those prospects can only be attached with Saturn. The only flaw with the functioning or working of Saturn is that it is a very slow moving planet, and you have to earn the reward from Saturn. You cannot just ask it out of your faith, out of your smartness or anything. With Saturn, you have to prove your mettle before asking the reward which you are expecting from Saturn, whether it's from your dasha or Saturn signs or Saturn's placement is falling in important areas of your life. And definitely, friends, Saturn's transit is a time when things kind of slows down. It is a time of caution, it is a time of moderation, it is a time of being of service, being of help to other people. And friends, even when we talk about from the spiritual prospects as well, so trust me, there is no other planet which is equivalent to the grace and the awareness and the spiritual prospect of the planet Saturn. See, I'll be very honest with you. When we talk from Jupiter's perspective, so I have seen many devotees and who are very much devoted to the gods and the worship and everything, and that's fine. That is something which devotion asks out of you, complete surrender. But try to relate it and understand it with Saturn's point of view. Saturn says, I do not want you to be walking on the wrong path with your fingers crossed. So Saturn just blesses us with the complete conscious awareness, where all of our actions are completely attuned with the rhythms of the nature, with the consequences or the repercussions which your actions could cause. So that is the kind of divine spiritual bliss which Saturn bestows in our lives. So when we talk about asceticism, we talk about spiritual siddhyas and powers. That is the domain which can be attached with the Saturn as well. Now friends, moving ahead. Now if you want to understand or map this transit of Saturn in the Aquarius energy. So definitely friends, although both of these two signs like Capricorn and Aquarius, Saturn is moving from of its one house to another house, but the way the theme or the decor or the energy of these two signs function are completely different. Now friends, the Aquarian energy is all about awareness given to your dreams, to your goals, towards the group activities, towards the community awareness or friendship. Now friends, if you're going to put Saturn over here, so now you have to be very very practical, very realistic, very mature, very responsible in all of these Aquarian related matters. So first of all, now when we talk about from your dreams, from your ideals, for your goals perspective, so you have to remain very realistic that how much you are actually putting efforts in that direction. Are you just daydreaming, or you are actually ready to sacrifice, to go through all sort of hardship which is expected out of you to succeed in all of your dreams, on all of your goals which you are trying to achieve or accomplish. Second thing is that friends, when we talk about friendship, so try to understand this thing that Saturn is a planet of perfection. Saturn is a planet which gives more weightage to quality over quantity. Now quantity is something where if you will find the Aquarian energy and the influence of Jupiter, of Mercury, of Venus, it might give you a very active social life. But when we talk about from Saturn's perspective, Saturn just limits your circle to only those people whose influence, whose energy is going to be conducive towards your growth and your success. So friends, Saturn's influence on Aquarius just indicates the kind of friendship, the kind of interaction or association which serves some common cause, whether for your own growth or whether for the people who you're hanging out with. So try to understand and differentiate between the energy of a third house or the Gemini, or the energy of Aquarius or of the 11th house, which has everything to do with association and hanging out with people who are actually going to contribute towards some common cause, common good, or your own development and growth in the life. Now friends, when we talk about from your professional accomplishment and rewards perspective, because we cannot even overlook this fact that 11th house or the Aquarian energy has definitely everything to do with the rewards, with the titles, with the wish fulfillment. So because of which friends, definitely the entry of Saturn is going to kind of create little bit of the setbacks or the initial frustration or delays in the results if you have not proven your mettle, or if you have not worked hard, or you have not justified the things which you are trying to accomplish or achieve. But again friends, like the way we always say this thing, Saturn can delays but Saturn never denies. And trust me, in majority of the cases where all those people who were or who even in the history or in the past have been strongly in the influence of Saturn, they have faced all sort of setbacks, failures and disappointments in the first half of their life, only to prepare and gain the wisdom, all the kind of morals out of all of their failures in order to succeed in the latter half of their life. So friends, the summary is that the transit of Saturn in the Aquarius can be summarized as infusing all sort of insights and vision to your dreams, to your goals, to your plans. It has everything to do with being very consciously aware of your contribution towards your community related duties and responsibilities. It has everything to do with the kind of people you associate yourself. And lastly friends, when we talk about the contribution and the influence of technology or the advancement of technology in all of our lives, so that is how friends you can see the combined influence of Saturn's transit in the Aquarius zodiac sign. And lastly friends, try to understand this thing that when we talk about the Aquarian energy, because it is also being co-ruled by Rahu as well, and Rahu brings its innovativeness, and on other side, on a contradictory, because Aquarius is being ruled by the Saturn infuses its detached, aloof qualities over there. So definitely friends, the transit of Saturn in the Aquarius is all about gaining freedom, but not at the cost of escaping your duties or breaking the laws. Now friends, before we will take our discussion to the next section of understanding the customized results, I just wanted to make this thing clear that Saturn has got additional aspects as well. Now when we talk about the concept of the aspects of the Saturn, different astrologers, different practitioners of astrology have different way of decoding it. I'm just going to be sharing my own personal finding or assessment on it. So friends, what I have found is that the third aspect of Saturn demands a lot of hardship out of us, and this is going to be the aspect which is generally very stern or very unrelenting, unbearing. So because of which friends, like wheresoever Saturn is going to be transiting from your house, the third aspect is going to be demanding a lot of hardship from you. The seventh aspect is something friends which demands a lot of responsibilities and accountability, and the 10th aspect generally proves to be lucky in bestowing some concrete result. So whether it's about in whichever house your Saturn is placed or in whichever house Saturn is going to be transiting, you have to take into account these aspects as well. So now friends, whatsoever I'm going to be sharing next with you, it's going to be a combined total summary of the role of Saturn in your life, basis its house rulership, basis the house it's going to be transiting, and blending it with the additional aspect of Saturn as well. So friends, starting with the Aries ascendant natives. So definitely friends, in your case Saturn holds a very important portfolio, because Saturn has got the rulership of your 10th house, of your career, and 11th house of all sort of gains. And if you will see from the 11th house, Saturn is going to be looking at your ascendant with its third aspect, your 5th house with its 7th aspect, and to your 8th house with its 10th aspect. So definitely friends, if I have to say this thing, that the entry of Saturn in the 11th house is definitely going to give you initially some sort of clarity regarding the path where you are in right now. So let's say for example, if you are in any ways in any crossroad of your life where you are considering opening up your own business, or you're thinking about changing your residentship, or any sort of change, if you are contemplating that could work in your favor, basis and relying on the efforts you have been putting in, along with what kind of dashas you are going through. Because friends, you have to understand this thing, that because when we talk about the true innate results which comes out of the Aquarius sign, that is always dependent on the both of its ruler, which is Saturn along with Rahu. So as you can fairly see that Rahu will be transiting your first house, which is your ascendant. So the whole chemistry which is taking place over here, that your 11th house of your gain is very strengthened, 12th house which all things which needs to be shed off, that is also empowered because of the presence and the grace of the Jupiter over there, and Rahu which is always on this mode of innovating, experimenting, exploring new things, new opportunities, new avenues. So from all of those regard, if you are in that stage of your life where if you are contemplating any big concrete investment, change, contemplating on some new career goal or new path, so you can succeed in all of those prospects or endeavors of yours. And along with that friends, as you know this thing, that when we talk about 11th house, definitely 11th house has everything to do with the social network. So I would say that during this time, your friends and all of the influence which you exert in the society, so that can also prove to be, or that can also come to your aid, to your rescue as well. So I'm actually looking forward to Saturnian influence in your life working in this way, that some big concrete career related opportunity might get bestowed. All of that which you have been working hard from the past like 2.5 years from the time Saturn has entered your 10th house. So brief or partial result or indication of that will definitely manifest during this time once Saturn is going to enter your 11th house. Now friends, as you can freely see over here, that because of Saturn's entry briefly in your 11th house, Saturn is going to be looking at your first house as well. So definitely friends, as you know that with big power comes the responsibility. So I would say that during this time, if you are actually contemplating some sort of authority, political seat, or some sort of position, that can actually manifest in your case. The only thing is that with that added responsibility or the pressure of responsibility is going to be very high. So definitely or suddenly you might get this feeling or idea that, oh my god, what actually I got myself into, that the position which I was eyeing for, the marriage or the relationship or the new residence or all those new changes or new avenues I was contemplating, I even got that, but that has actually made my life suddenly so busy. So whether we talk about your social life, asking a lot out of you, lot of your time, lot of your energy, lot of your attention, or whether it's about your family matters, whether it's about your responsibility towards your spouse. So the pressure of responsibilities is definitely going to keep you busy during this time, because friends, when we talk about the third aspect of Saturn, which comes from the like Aquarius sign, that goes on a sign where Saturn, like debilitation, Saturn feels itself weak, and the weakness of Saturn is all about it just wants to humble down your ego. So definitely friends, with the third aspect, Saturn is going to create lot of pressure of added responsibilities for you. And not only that friends, because from the Aquarius, Saturn is going to be looking at the 5th house or to the Leo sign as well. And as you can fairly see, that 5th house also has to do with the way our mind function. And Saturn's aspect directly to your 5th house is definitely going to make your mind, little bit overburdened with the pressure of the duties and the responsibilities. Now, this could be the added sudden responsibilities on the account of your children, or if in any way you're connected with the fields of art or media. So some big coveted opportunities will come to you, but along with that, there will be attached answerability, accountability, and responsibilities as well. Now friends, the only big benefit which I am looking at for all the Aries ascendant native is that because from the Aquarius, Saturn is going to be looking at your 8th house as well with its 10th aspect. And as you can see that Saturn has definitely got the affinity with the 8th house related matters. Saturn is also the Karaka of the 8th house as well. So let's say for example, if in your nature of work or line of work, anything to do with insurance, revenue, spirituality, occult fields, or even if you are anticipating some sort of joint resources or any inheritance, wills, legacy, if any of the 8th house related matters are getting qualified in your case, whether expecting or awaiting some sort of financial gains from the 8th house connected with the 8th house, or if your profession is connected with the 8th house related matters, so some concrete substantial accomplishment, good news on the matters of the 8th house can be promised or can be seen as working in your favor during this transit of Saturn in your 11th house. Moving ahead friends, now when we talk about for all the Taurus ascendant natives, so friends, beyond doubt Saturn becomes a very important planet for you guys, because Saturn is your Yoga Karaka planet. So as you can see friends, that Saturn is going to be transiting your 10th house, and Saturn has got the rulership of your 9th house, of your fortune, and 10th house of your professional endeavors. Saturn is going to be aspecting your 12th house with its 3rd aspect. Saturn is going to be looking at your 4th house with its 7th aspect, and Saturn is going to be looking at your 7th house with its 10th aspect. So definitely friends, from all the calculations, this transit of Saturn can be seen as very promising for all of you guys. Definitely Saturn is going to give you a very piercing insight or a very piercing focus regarding the matter of your professional accomplishments. And the beauty of 10th house related matters for all the Taurus ascendant native is that because friends, wheresoever the air signs falls in, and specifically the energy of the Aquarius, they tend to remain very strong sign or indication that due to the support or help of the community or our network, our influence, we can succeed in the matters of that house. Where the energy of Aquarius falls, this is your ascendant in whichever house it falls in. You're not like a lone wolf, or you're not on your own to accomplish those house related matters. So beauty over here is that, friends, definitely with the energy of Saturn entering your 10th house, all the people in your network, in your circle of influence might play a very pivotal role in any of your professional accomplishment or endeavors. And along with that, friends, as you can fairly see that Saturn's third aspect is definitely the aspect of hardship. So Saturn's third aspect is going to be looking at your 12th house. Now 12th house, which has everything to do with the expenses, which has everything to do with the losses. So definitely Saturn is going to make you consciously aware enough about all those activities, engagements or people from your life which needs to be shed out so that you can have your complete focus regarding your goals, regarding your duties. So from that front, even Saturn's third aspect is not causing any sort of hindrance or any sort of obstacle for all the Taurus ascendant natives. And moving ahead, friends, as you can fairly see that from the 10th house, Saturn is going to be looking at your 4th house as well. So now definitely, friends, the domestic responsibilities, accountability is going to get high during this time. On emotional mental plane, you have to keep your mental, emotional health bit guarded during this time. That whatsoever development is taking place at your work front, you should not blend it, you should not mix it with your domestic life, because many times what happens is that you are having some hard time at your work or your boss is giving you some hard time. You take up all those stress from the office and you push it and you blend it and kind of you make your whole domestic life bit chaotic because of not being able to manage your personal life and your public life. So that is one area where you have to work hard. But also, friends, because of Saturn's entry in the 10th house, if in your profession, your livelihood, if any of the 4th house related matters are getting qualified, you working as in a business of home decor, of any luxury goods, anything to do with construction, real estate, so all those people can definitely get benefited. Because, friends, you have to understand this thing, that Saturn's transit in your 10th house is all about trying to prove something or accomplish or attain something big. And I have already mentioned this thing, the energy of Aquarius never leaves us alone. So there are people in the community, all those people whom you have given some favor, you have done some favor, or if your public image is of good reputation in the society, so definitely you will be able to encash on all of that as well. And friends, as you can fairly see that Saturn's 10th aspect is going to be looking at your 7th house. So friends, this is going to be a very ripe, very promising time. These 3 months window is a very promising time for all the Taurus ascendant natives, that if in your case, if you are anticipating any political seat, or you are in the business of mass media, of films, television, content creation, working for the federal government, if in any ways your livelihood engages or involves public dealing, dealing with the masses, and dealing with the masses where you are the face of the organization or of the institution or of the cause you are supporting. So I would say, friends, that you will be able to amass the good support of the people or of all the causes you have faith in. So for any sort of accomplishment, achievement perspective, this transit of Saturn in the 10th house can be seen as a very promising time for all the Taurus ascendant natives. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Gemini ascendant natives. So definitely, friends, in your case, Saturn is a very important planet for you, because Saturn has got the rulership of your 8th house and the 9th house, and the Mool Trikon sign of the Saturn falls in your auspicious trine house. So because of which Saturn becomes a very important planet for you guys. And the beauty is that finally Saturn is out of your 8th house, and from the 9th house Saturn is going to be aspecting your 11th house with its 3rd aspect. It's going to be aspecting your 3rd house with its 7th aspect, and it's going to be aspecting your 6th house with its 10th aspect. So friends, to begin with, definitely the theme of this transit can be understood in this way, that it is going to provide you a realistic and clear path for your growth and for your progress and success. Because, friends, many times what happens is that whenever we talk about the 9th house related matters, the beauty of the 9th house is that if you are going through the dasha of the 9th house lord, your 9th house is currently activated. So trust me, you can find the solution of any ongoing problem with ease, with grace, because of the support of the divine intervention. So the point which I'm trying to make over here is that, friends, whether if in your case your livelihood, ninth house related matters are straight away getting qualified. You being a publisher, you being a writer, you being in judiciary, you being in the field of teaching or anything to do with publishing, all those people can get benefited. If you are considering or contemplating any of the concerns of visa, immigration, you are going through some PhDs, your higher studies, or you are contemplating applying for foreign universities, all those prospects can take a kick start during this time when Saturn is going to be transiting your ninth house. And friends, as you can fairly see that from the ninth house, Saturn is going to be aspecting your 11th house as well. So like the way I have already mentioned this thing, that the third aspect of Saturn is the aspect of hardship. So because when we talk about the Gemini ascendant natives, they somehow have this playful or frivolous side to their personality as well. And during this time, you have to keep or restrict your social life or social engagements. It always, easy to say that, oh, I cannot say no to this person. But during this time, you have to remain very realistic that all those people you are you are giving your time or you're compromising on your goals or on your hard work just because of being very socially active or being a social butterfly. So during this time, you have to actually restrict your social circle or social presence only to those people who are actually contributing towards your growth, your personality development, or who are contributing something regarding the goals which you have set for yourself. And friends, with the seventh aspect from the ninth house going to your third house, so definitely friends, you have to be very accountable for your actions during this time, because whenever we talk about any initiatives, any recklessness, any sort of self-willed and impulse driven actions, they are generally associated with the third house. So during this time, all of your actions have to be properly monitored, well controlled, that what could be the repercussions of all of your actions. So all the actions, engagements, communication, matters of self-expression needs to be very realistic, very well contemplated, very well meticulously planned before expressing it out there in the world. And friends, with the 10th aspect of Saturn going to your 6th house, so definitely friends, if in your case, it hardly matters whether you are in the fields of law, judiciary, policing, or anyways, if you have been working hard, and even if you are a service professional, you are in a corporate job, you are in a multinational organization and all of that, so all those people can get benefited. Specifically for the service professionals, for the freelance people, this transit of Saturn in your 9th house is definitely going to give you a clear path regarding your progress, regarding your future progression during this time. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Cancer ascendant natives, Saturn has got the rulership of your 7th house and the 8th house, and Saturn is going to be transiting your 8th house. So now friends, not only Saturn is entering your 8th house, but it is also going to be looking at your 10th house with its 3rd aspect, your 2nd house with its 7th aspect, and your 5th house with its 10th aspect. So definitely friends, to begin with, on a emotional plane, because you being ruled by the planet Moon, with your ascendant being of Cancer, so your emotions, your feelings are always very volatile or always very sensitive. So during this time, you have to kind of come out little bit stronger in all those matters of dependency, matters of intimacy, wheresoever joint resources, wheresoever dependability on other people, whether on the account of money, any of the concerns of joint resources, power are getting qualified. So you have to come out or prove yourself to be much stronger than the credit which you give to yourself. The second thing is that friends, definitely if in your line of work anything to do with the 8th house related matters is getting qualified, you can get benefited, like you being engaged in the fields of revenue, taxing, insurance, spirituality, occult sciences, adult industry. So all those people can actually be able to lay strong foundation for themselves. The second thing is that friends, because you have to understand this thing, that from the 8th house, Saturn is going to be aspecting your 10th house with its 3rd aspect, which is an aspect of like invoking lot of hardship and all of that. So during this time, suddenly you might feel that you have been asked to work a lot, work extra, your bosses might be expecting a lot out of you, and your financial paychecks are not getting remunerated accordingly, so being asked to work extra on the same paychecks. So those kind of situations or scenarios might arise because of the aspect of Saturn which is going on your second house and to your 10th house. But friends, again with this thing, there is no denying that obviously you are going to get more added responsibilities, which can only happen if a new position or a promotion which might also get offered to you. And we all know that whatsoever comes from the 8th house, that always comes in a very sudden, unpredictable way. So definitely friends, for anything to do with the professional growth front, this time period can be seen as promising, but definitely be prepared to work hard and work extra. Because friends, even if you will see that when we talk about Saturn's 10th aspect, which is going to your 5th house, and 5th house is a prime house, like whenever we talk about the positive transformation and changes, because 5th house is 8th from your 10th house. So because of which some professional accomplishment can take place. Regarding anything to do with spirituality, it's going to be very illuminating. It's going to be very very spiritually driven time, because 5th house, 8th house, all these two houses has primarily to do with the spirituality only. So because of which your heightened conscious awareness is going to give you clarity in all of the life related matters. Your intuition will be guiding you in the right direction, and if in your line of work 8th house related matters are getting qualified, you will be able to do very good in all those pursuit. And along with that friends, that whenever we talk about even from the matrimonial perspective as well, because in your case Saturn has got the rulership of your 7th house and the 8th house. So many times what happen is that whenever the important planets, specifically if they are transiting from your 8th house, and your 8th house is in dignity, because not only that during this year Jupiter is also going to be transiting your 9th house as well. So for all those people who are eligible bachelors and all of that, the shift of Saturn from your 7th house and its entry in the 8th house with a dignified 9th house with the presence of Jupiter over there, for all those people who have been single for a long time, the prospects and proposals of marriage can also start coming in during this time if your ongoing dashas are also running favorable. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Leo ascendant natives, so definitely friends, in your case Saturn has got the rulership of your 6th house and the 7th house, and because Saturn is going to be entering your 7th house and it's going to be influencing your other important houses as well. 9th house with its 3rd aspect, ascendant with the 7th aspect, and 4th house with the 10th aspect. So friends, to begin with, all of the matters of the 7th house are definitely going to experience the stability, because 7th house is the prime house of business. So if in the business you have been going through some tough times, some sort of instability, so Saturn might pave path to giving you the kind of stability which your business deserve. The second thing is that if in your line of work anything to do with the masses is getting qualified, so you will be able to project yourself to the best of your capabilities, or you will be able to amass the collective support from people or from the community. Another way of looking at is that friends, because Saturn wheresoever it transit, it always brings the test and trials in that specific area of the life. So if you are in any sort of partnership nature of business, so definitely friends, all the realities could be revealed, all the commitments might be tested. So you have to remain with the best of your behavior during this time. You have to treat your partners with complete dignity and respect, because friends, you have to understand this thing. From the 7th house, Saturn is going to be aspecting your 9th house as well, and when we talk about virtues, ethics, morals, righteousness, so all those aspect is going to be in scrutiny. And not only that, Saturn is also going to be looking at your 1st house, the way you think, the way you project, the way you behave. So you have to completely suppress your ego, and you have to behave with complete integrity during this time. And friends, like as you can fairly see that Saturn is going to be aspecting your 4th house as well. So generally the reward aspect Saturn which it grants, it always grants from its 10th aspect. So I would say friends that definitely some strong important decision or event can take place during this time, which is going to give you stability. Now this could be due to business opportunity, this could be you getting married, or if you are in that age, you're looking out for the partners for your children and all of that. So all those domestic related, life related matters which gives us stability. This could be starting a business, this could be buying your own home. So all those related matters can materialize during this time because of the entry of Saturn in your 7th house. It is definitely going to give you stability which you have been eyeing for long time. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Virgo ascendant natives, so definitely friends, in your case, Saturn has got the rulership of your 5th house and the 6th house. In transit, Saturn is going to be entering your 6th house. So friends, the transit of Saturn in the 6th house is considered as very auspicious because Saturn is also the significator or the karaka of the 6th house as well. 6th house is an upachya bhav, and the transit of the malefic planets from this house is generally considered as very auspicious. So whether you work in any of the medical field or health industry, fitness industry, law, judiciary, arbitration, all those people can get benefited. And definitely friends, Saturn's transit in the 6th house can actually give you this chance to restructure your daily work life. So any changes, whether it's in your diet, in your concerns of your health, or whether in your leadership style, in your work style, so any of the experiments or changes which has been in your mind for a long time, you might be able to get a chance to experiment all those experiments or all those revamps during this time when Saturn is going to be transiting from your 6th house. Answerability can go high, work hours can go high during this time, but they will equally get rewarded as well. And now friends, from over here, Saturn is going to be aspecting your 8th house and your 12th house as well. So friends, the beauty of these two aspects of Saturn in other two Dushtana Bhav is that Saturn is definitely going to suppress any sort of unpredictable, uncertain, unforeseen kind of unpleasing kind of circumstances, situation or encounters as well. But all of that can only happen if you are going to perform with the top of your game. If you have very efficiently multitask or manage things, so definitely you can avoid the uncertainties which might creep up from the 8th house or the 12th house. And the beauty over here is that friends, like the way I already mentioned this thing at the beginning of this video, that Saturn's award giving or reward giving aspect is the 10th aspect, which is going to be looking at your 3rd house. So definitely friends, the kind of ferociousness, the kind of hardworking approach which you are going to bring on the table during this time, it is definitely going to improve your status, your image in your daily work life or in the community or in the society. So you will come across as someone who is very accountable, who is very responsible, and on whose shoulder trust and responsibilities can be put forth successfully. So definitely friends, some important concrete contacts might also come your way, and you will be able to initiate and execute any of the responsibilities which might be bestowed upon you during this time or during this day of Saturn in your 6th house. Like the way friends, I have already mentioned this thing. Take this a small 3 months transit of Saturn in the Aquarius sign in this year of 2022 as a testing phase, that in which direction your life is heading or progressing, in which specific line your daily work life is like showing some signs of development, because that is going to be the ultimate theme when Saturn is going to transit to your 6th house completely, finally in the year 2023. So plan your work life accordingly, give attention to the matters of your health, and be at the best and the top of your game during this time to get the best results from Saturn's transit to your 6th house. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Libra ascendant natives. So friends, in your case, Saturn has got the rulership of your 4th house and the 5th house. So Saturn in a way becomes your Yog Karaka, very important planet. So friends, Saturn's entry in your 5th house just tells about all the tests, all the trials and the challenges are going to be experienced in the matters of the 5th house, which has everything to do with the creative expression, with the way you deal with any sort of responsibilities. Now this could be directed towards your children, this could be directed towards your education if you are in that age group. So all these matters need to be strengthened up or need to be disciplined during this time when Saturn is going to be transiting from your 5th house. Now friends, the good aspect of this transit of Saturn is that if in your line of work, anything to do with spirituality, anything to do with research, exploration is getting qualified, you can get benefited, because friends, 5th house has a strong say the way our mind function. So you will definitely find yourself it's like a soul of a old wise mature person is living in your body, so giving you or making you very visionary, very realistic, very future or very goal oriented during this time when Saturn is going to be crossing or passing from your 5th house. Now friends, just because your ascendant is being ruled by the planet Venus, so if in your lifestyle there is a lot of indulgence, lot of hedonism, if that is a part of your lifestyle, so that is the one area where you have to discipline yourself. Fun is one thing, but there has to be moderation over there. And friends, from the 5th house, Saturn is going to be aspecting your 7th house with its 3rd aspect. It's going to be aspecting your 11th house, and it's going to be aspecting your 2nd house as well. So now friends, definitely the aspect of Saturn to your might suddenly increase your answerability or your duties and responsibilities towards your partner. So that is one area where you have to remain very cautious, that you should not undermine or you should not be negligent towards your duties towards your, whether this could be your partner if you are already in a relationship, or if you are in business partnership. So the answerability or the test and trials of commitment might be experienced over there, or if you are holding up some government position, you are in any sort of political seat, so answerability towards the matters of the 7th house, of the public, of the partner, of the spouse is going to get high. And friends, just because Saturn is going to be aspecting your 11th house as well, so as you can see that the 7th aspect of Saturn is all about responsibilities. So I would say that whatsoever your goals are, you have to be very piercingly focused during this time. Like there is one approach or attitude of just fantasizing anything or visualizing anything, and another approach is working hard in that direction, meeting and connecting only with the relevant people who are going to contribute to you on your path, rather than just distracting you or taking you in all other directions. So it becomes very important the people you socialize with, and with how much focus you will work hard regarding your set goals for yourself. And friends, when we talk about Saturn's it's 10th aspect to your 2nd house, so in that area some rewards can be experienced. Now friends, that hardly matters whether your occupation, your livelihood is straight away connected with the Saturnian fields, or like for example you are going through the time period or the dasha of the Saturn. In any ways, the 10th aspect of Saturn generally plays a very pivotal role. So I would say that friends, if you have been a person who is very calculative, who is very well planned, who is very meticulous, who is very responsible, who is very accountable, so some financial reward for all the hard work or right set of decision making done by you during this time can pave path for that as well. So regarding the financial accomplishment and financial opportunities, this transit of Saturn in your 5th house is creating some very good energy. Friends, try to understand this thing, that whatsoever I'm telling you over here, or whatsoever you are going to be experiencing, that's going to be on a very small scale, because Saturn is very briefly entering the Aquarius sign, that too just in the 1st degree, just the 1 degree of the Aquarius sign. But the beauty of that is that that is going to give you this idea or hint in whichever area of life you are working hard, are you on the right path, in the right direction or not? Because whatsoever outcome is going to come during this stay of Saturn in your 5th house, that is going to be the theme when Saturn will finally enter in 2023, and the result will magnify in that direction. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Scorpio ascendant natives, so friends, in your case Saturn has got the rulership of your 3rd house and your 4th house, and in transit Saturn is going to be entering your 4th house. So now friends, when we talk about the transit of Saturn in the 4th house, this can be seen as good in this regard, that Saturn is the chief significator of giving us a strong foundation of stability in the life, and all the matters of stability, of the happiness on the account of domestic life is generally something which we see from the 4th house. So definitely friends, Saturn can actually pave path in that direction. Now the definition of stability is different for different people, or depending on in which stage of life you are in. If you are a young person, getting married is the chief concern. If you are in middle age, buying your own home is your central concern. So all those things can materialize. The thing is that friends, the one beautiful aspect of Saturn's transit on a very spiritual plane is that because 4th house is something which tells about what gives us emotional fulfillment, and the energy of Aquarius and combined influence of Saturn over there is all about humanitarianism. So definitely during this time you will be driven towards doing some good deeds, helping people, taking interest in community related causes and all of that. And along with that, friends, whether if in your livelihood the fourth house related matters are getting qualified or not, you are definitely going to get benefited. Because friends, like all those people who are in construction, real estate, manpower management, buying and selling of vehicles, so if your occupation hovers around the matters of the fourth house, you can definitely get benefited. And friends, because Saturn has got additional aspect as well, so from the fourth house Saturn is going to be aspecting your sixth house, it's going to be aspecting your 10th house, and it's going to be aspecting your first house. So definitely friends, this is going to be time period where you will project the best of your capabilities. Saturn will actually encourage you, like all of the domestic life or people in your domestic life could actually become a source of your inspiration, of your motivation to put the best of your efforts. So that is how the Saturnian energy is going to manifest. And definitely friends, because Saturn is going to be aspecting straight to your 10th house, so your bosses are going to be expecting a lot out of you. So whether you are like remotely working, you are a freelance self-employed person, or you are working for any big corporation or anything, the answerability or the pressure of the responsibilities might suddenly go high during this time. And friends, the beauty of this transit of Saturn in the fourth house is that its 10th aspect straight away look at the first house. So try to understand this thing. Whatsoever is happening in deep inside of your heart, where you are driven towards doing good deeds, helping people, third aspect is driving you to work hard, and 10th house is about your duties and your professional responsibilities. Everything, all of these combined influence and the endeavors or the energy of Saturn, which will be influencing all these three areas, will respond or will reward straight away on the matters of your first house, which is all about enhancement of your public image. So experiencing that reputation, that respect, that honor in the society, people looking at you with respect, so that is something which can happen during this time. And let's say for example friends, if in your case any sort of like a political position or power or authority, if you have been awaiting for that, or if you're working in that direction, or like friends, I would also say that for initiating something new, because Saturn has also got the rulership of your third house as well. So for initiating something new or sowing seeds for some new business idea or starting up some new business, so I would say that from all of those perspective, this energy or this transit of Saturn in your fourth house can be seen as a very promising time. And friends, I would say that try to remain very much like consciously aware about that what kind of development is going to taking place in next 3 months, because whatsoever development is going to take place, that is going to show its initial signs. The complete result, the complete picture will only start once Saturn will finally move in next year in the Aquarius sign. Right now Saturn is just going to be transiting in the first degree only of the Aquarius, but that is going to give you this hint whether you are or your efforts are in the right direction, or they needs to be re-strategized or planned. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Sagittarius ascendant natives, Saturn has got the rulership of your second house and of your third house. So now friends, the transit of Saturn in the third house, or whether its placement in the natal chart in the third house, is always considered as very auspicious. Because friends, when we talk about the vulnerable or the negative side of the third house, it can make you very reckless, very headstrong. So now Saturn's placement generally restrains and kind of excludes the possibility of going haywire with your actions, with your drive. The second thing is that friends, definitely for all those people who are in the fields of journalism, media, sales, marketing, you run your tutorials, you are a trainer, so for all those people, third house is a very important house, and Saturn's placement over here can give you some sort of concrete, substantial opportunity, a bigger and broader vision for expanding your business. So from all of those perspectives, the transit or the entry of Saturn in the third house can be seen as a very good sign. But friends, as you can fairly see that when we talk about Saturn's entry, it's all about tests and trials which goes in the matters of that house. So initially there could be some setbacks in your vision, in your goals, and there might be additional responsibilities and commitments and answerability to your friends, to your siblings. So that is the one area where you have to multitask, where you have to manage things accordingly. And not only that friends, if you will see the other aspect of the Saturn as well. So from the third house, Saturn is going to be aspecting your 5th house with its 3rd aspect. Saturn is going to be aspecting your 12th house, and it's going to be aspecting your 9th house as well. So friends, for all those people in whose case anything to do with the writing, publishing, foreign trade, anything to do with speculation, if all those things are getting qualified, so during this time Saturn can actually bring out some positive, some concrete result as well. Because friends, when we talk about the 3rd aspect, which has everything to do with the hardship, with your meticulous planning, so that is going in the matters of the 5th house, which has everything to do with our thought process, the way our mind function. So Saturn is definitely going to make you very well planned, well calculative, not to go haywire while taking risk. And its aspect to your 9th house is definitely going to make you very much righteous, being on the right path, being very virtuous with all of your actions, very considerate to the needs of other people, and also very much like faith driven as well during this time. So faith is definitely going to push you beyond your limits for the attainment of your goals and your targets. And definitely friends, the aspect of Saturn in the 12th house, I have already mentioned this thing. If in your occupation, in your livelihood, any of the 12th house matters is getting qualified, if it has anything to do with travels, with import export, with foreign residentship and all of that, or working or expanding your business to different territories and all of that, so the 10th aspect of Saturn can actually benefit you and help you in all those matters as well. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Capricorn ascendant natives, so friends, in your case the good part over here is that finally Saturn is going to be coming out of your 1st house, out of your ascendant. So whatsoever Saturn has encouraged you to perform, all the added responsibilities which you have been carrying on your shoulder from the past 2.5 years, the result of that will manifest during this time when Saturn is going to be entering your 2nd house. And friends, when we talk about the matters of the 2nd house, so definitely friends, the caution and the test and trials and the challenges are going to come on the way you manage your finances. So you have to behave and perform in a very penny pinching way, first of all. The second thing is that it has nothing to do with paying foundation for some concrete financial returns. That can still take place, but you have to remain very much protective, very much responsible on defending your values. And when we talk about all the beliefs and the ideals is one thing, because all these are the qualities which Aquarian energy and the 2nd house energy somehow resonate on a very equal way. So those are the areas where you have to remain very unrelentingly non-compromising on your values, on your belief, and you have to be very kind of cautious on the matters of your financial management. Definitely friends, if in your case any sort of public speaking or writing or blogging, content creation, being in a political seat, dealing and kind of addressing the masses is getting qualified, so your audience will definitely receive that sense of substance in your plans, in your vision, in the way you present or express yourself. The second thing is that friends, because Saturn is going to be aspecting your other houses as well. So from the 2nd house, Saturn is going to be aspecting your 4th house with its 3rd aspect. So definitely friends, on the domestic life matters, there is going to be some added responsibilities which might come on your shoulder, and specifically those responsibilities or those answerabilities might be financial in nature. So try to manage or save money accordingly. The second thing is that friends, when we talk about the 3rd aspect of Saturn going to your 4th house, this is definitely going to encourage you to do something good for the society or for the community related causes as well during this time. And friends, from the 2nd house, Saturn is going to be aspecting your 8th house as well. So when we talk about your joint resources related matters, because friends, definitely generally the human psychology is that only when we get or when we experience a burnt hole in our pocket, then we look forward to other mediums to make money. Or let's say for example, I've seen this thing in so many charts where people have been initially very frivolous, very casual in their joint resources, but once any sort of mishap happens, or any sort of recession, or any sort of scarcity starts striking their doors, then they look forward to what could have been the flaws in the joint resources or joint management of our finances. So if you are already married, you are in relationship, all the 8th house related matters need to be taken into consideration during this time. And for all those people who are either working in the fields of the tax, revenue, insurance, or you have been anticipating some sort of tax benefits or some sort of inheritances and all of that, so all those people can straight away get benefited during this time. So the aspect of Saturn in your 8th house might help you, might benefit you in all of those matters. And definitely friends, anything to do with the research, exploration, and spiritual insights, the aspect of Saturn in your 8th house is definitely going to help you. And lastly friends, if you will look at the aspect of Saturn going in your 11th house, which is the 10th aspect, so definitely friends, 11th house has everything to do with the influential contacts. 11th house has everything to do with your influence in the society. So friends, during this time you might run into someone who is very well connected in the society, someone who's very prominent in the society, and that person might play a very pivotal role in connecting you with either your path or either with the relevant opportunities and all of that. So that can also be anticipated or foreseen with Saturn's 10th aspect going to your 11th house. And let's say for example friends, if you are in that stage of your life where you have been working hard, or you are in your own family business, you are in any sort of banking or any sort of financial investment portfolio and all of that, so next level promotion, new opportunity, new role can also be anticipated with this entry of Saturn in your 2nd house. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Aquarius ascendant natives, so friends, in your case Saturn is going to be coming to its own home, to its own Mool Trikon sign, which is your ascendant as well. So definitely friends, Saturn is going to make you very responsible, very mature, very visionary regarding your goals, regarding your duties, regarding your responsibilities, regarding your, because see friends, when we talk about the entry of Saturn in the 1st house, it in a way controls all affairs of our life. Definitely to begin with, Saturn, which is the significator of the test and the trials and the challenges or slowing down things. So first of all, the way you manage your responsibilities, the way you manage your time, the way you manage your energy levels or the concerns of your health, that is gonna take utmost priority right now. And let's say for example, if in any ways, because friends, try to understand this thing, that when we talk about the 1st house transit of the Saturn, or whether the 1st house placement of Saturn, so it hardly matters whether Saturn is exalted here, Saturn is placed in its own sign, because Saturn is the planet which is always concerned for serving or for the well-being of the masses or other people. And 1st house always has me first approach or attitude. So because of which Saturn is always in a very sensitive or in a very tumultuous condition when it is placed, or it's gonna be transiting from the 1st house. So apart from overall managing all affairs of your life, being very much protective and careful of your health, you have to be very humble during this time. If you are a kind of person who is very egoistic, who is not respectful towards other people, then during this time period or stay of Saturn in your 1st house, it might create setbacks or hurdles for you. But let's say for example, if you're a kind of person who's very virtuous, who's very hardworking, who's very honest, who's very grounded, so I would say that friends, because of Saturn's entry over here, and we can fairly see that even the co-ruler of the Aquarius, which is Rahu, which is also going to be entering your 3rd house, and the transit of Rahu in the 3rd house is considered as one of the best placement for Rahu to be placed in. So definitely friends, whether you belong to the field of politics or any of the top management, anything to do with scientific fields, working in the fields of technology, so I would say that all those people can get benefited. Saturn is definitely going to give you a broader vision or a high vision for your life, for your professional career related goals as well. So overall upliftment can take place during this time when Saturn has come to your 1st house. And friends, as you can see that Saturn influences the 3rd house as well with its 3rd aspect from your 1st house. So that is going to encourage you to work hard, put forth your best efforts. Saturn is going to be looking at your 7th house as well. So definitely you will behave very responsible, very accountable towards any of your responsibilities and your duties, whether towards any of the business partner, whether towards the masses, whether towards your partner, your spouse. And definitely friends, all of the hard work which you have been doing, not only from the past 2.5 years or like even from before that. So Saturn's 10th aspect can actually give you reward for all of your hard work as well. But friends, again the same thing, try to understand this thing. When we talk about the reward or the kind of gifts which we receive from Saturn, that is always with added responsibility. So you suddenly become a ruler, you suddenly become a branch head. So that does not mean that only your package has gone high, your reputation or the designation or title in your position has gone high. The responsibilities and accountability has also gone high. So that all possibilities can be foreseen for all the Aquarius ascendant natives once Saturn is going to be transiting through your first house. And last friends, for all the Pisces ascendant natives, so friends, in your case, Saturn is going to be transiting from your 12th house. So friends, as you know this thing that when we talk about the transit of Saturn from the 12th house, so this is always a time when you should give attention towards getting rid of all those things, all those energies which might be draining you. Now, when we talk about any of the past failures, disappointments, rejections, crises, trauma, addictions, if you have been battling with all of these concerns, during this time, Saturn is definitely going to give you an opportunity to get rid of all these entities which might have been pulling you down. The second thing is that friends, the only concern is that when we talk about from the mental health perspective, whether from your moon sign being Pisces, your ascendant being Pisces, that is the one area where you have to remain a bit cautious, you have to remain careful. How not to let any of the development of your life, any of the situations, circumstances of your life have a negative impact on your mental peace. So that is the one thing which I want to say. And definitely friends, if in your case, in your livelihood, any of the 12th house related matters are getting qualified, you are a yoga teacher, you are a meditation practitioner, you are in service industry, health industry, you work in hospitals, you work in any sort of profession where spiritual cleansing or healing is involved. So the entry of Saturn in the 12th house, in its own house of Aquarius, is definitely going to give you strong and deeper penetrating insights. And also friends, like when we talk about, I have seen a lot many charts of people who are fantasy writer, who are in creative screenwriting and all of those profiles, who are either the Pisces moon sign or the Pisces ascendant. And because in your 12th house there is a sign or energy of sci-fi, of space sciences, aliens and all those fantasy world. So if your occupation, your livelihood involves working in these kind of fields, 12th house related matters, so definitely friends, the entry of Saturn in your 12th house can give you insight and deeper insight in all these 12th house related matters. And friends, from the 12th house, Saturn is going to be aspecting your second house with its third aspect, which can be seen as a very good sign in this regard that Saturn will definitely push you to the best of your capabilities to reinforce or kind of reinvigorate the matters of your financial channels, financial income. So Saturn will definitely push you towards some financial regeneration. From that front, the third aspect is going to work in your benefit. Now friends, from the seventh aspect, Saturn is going to be looking at your sixth house. So that can be seen as a very good sign that in order to be coming across as very hardworking, being accountable, taking responsibilities, working hard, from all of those perspectives, this aspect of Saturn in the sixth house can be seen as a good sign. Also friends, because Saturn is right now in the Aquarius in the 12th house, and Saturn is the most empathetic planet amongst all the planetary forces, which genuinely concerns for the pain or plight of others. There might be other energies which might pretend to be caring, but Saturn is the only planet which actually feels the pain and plight of others. So during this time, because of your helpful nature, you might also be recognized, acknowledged in your community, in your daily work life, that okay, this is the person who actually cares for others. So that approach might help you progress during this time. And lastly friends, if you want to understand the 10th aspect of the Saturn, so as you can freely see from over here, that Saturn is going to be looking at your 9th house with its 10th aspect. So definitely friends, this is a kind of aspect which actually strengthens your faith in the higher divine powers. And definitely friends, for anything to do in order to get benefited because of the right mentors, right advisors coming in your life, right kind of guidance receiving during this time. And also friends, during this time, support of luck is definitely going to help you in overall all endeavors of your life. Or if in your case, higher studies, PhDs, any of the concerns of immigration, foreign settlement, if that is getting qualified in your case, so you can also get benefited because of the overall influence of Saturn taking place in your life. So that is something friends which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs for this upcoming transit of Saturn in the Aquarius sign on April 28th. For further more updates and notifications on the divine signs of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page.